January can very much feel like a time of renewal as we enter into a new year, and there's the Lunar New Year. But at the same time, if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, it still remains a time of hibernation, as much of our time can be spent indoors, and there's a lot of planning for the seasons ahead. And today I'm going to be sharing a few tips that you may want to think about when you're planning your garden for 2022. And these tips are specifically for those who want to do more of spiritual planting and planting for some magic in the year ahead. Hi, welcome to Gently Being. These tips all are to be done before you start actually sketching out your garden beds or the pot you're going to put on your windowsill. These are just some things you may want to reflect on first, because they will lead you to what you may want to plant. Even though the Yuletide season did just end, I think a wonderful way to begin your garden planning is to stop and think about some of the gifts you may want to make during 2022 for your friends and family. Perhaps these are gifts you want to make during the December season to gift, perhaps for birthdays, for Samhain. You may just want to take some time to think about, what are some of those things I learned about, herbal gifts that I can make? What are some of the plants I need to plant to be able to make these gifts? This is a really wonderful way to think about what you may need to plant to be able to make those gifts that you want to share with your friends and your family. Another thing you may want to consider is what you may want to eat in the coming year. Is there a specific dish you'd like to make? Perhaps a dish you'd like to make for a certain celebration or ritual. Are there things that you can plant that can help you to make this dish? Or what are some flavors you may want to have? This can help you pick the seeds that you want to plant this spring. The next thing you may want to consider, are there any magical herbs or plants that you'd like to bring into the ceremonies and rituals that you have during the year? Are you able to plant any of these? You may want to start here and start with just those plants for the year. Again, this is just letting you really sort of slim down the ideas of things that you want to plant to those that you may find most useful during the year. And lastly, it can be really easy to get super excited and want to plant all the plants, but we also want to be realistic of what we have the capacity to do. So you may just want to focus in on 1 to 3 plants that you really want to grow and harvest this year. This way you can really look into the history of the plant, the magical meaning of these plants. Take time to observe this plant as it grows and really build a relationship with it. For example, I just really like growing pumpkins. I think they're a really fun plant to observe over the seasons as they grow. I like harvesting them. I enjoy the foods that you can make from the pumpkins, and I also enjoy the magic and folk belief and folk magic that surrounds this plant. So during 2022, one of the plants I'm going to focus on is the pumpkin. So you may want to think of something similar for yourself and really focus in on those plants. And lastly, it's okay if you really observe the space you have and you don't really have much area to start some seeds. I'm actually just right now visiting with my parents, and they have a lot of window space that could be used for starting seeds, but the apartment that I actually live in has very little windowsill space, so I have to be realistic of if I can start seeds, what I can start in the space that I'm in. And if you don't have much space to start seeds, that's okay. You can always visit your local nursery in the spring to buy some plants that have already started to plant them. So no matter if you live in a small apartment or you have a yard or there's a field or community garden available to you, you can try and work within those spaces. Again, it can be really fun to just even focus on that one plant that grows on your windowsill. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and hit the bell so you always know when there's a new video. Thanks so much for spending time with Gently Being.